What is going on, guys, and welcome to your first training session. I guess this is just getting started with Tire Base. So if you know absolutely nothing about Tire Base, it's okay. You're not alone. I'm here to help you in this journey. In this video, I do want to set clear what we're gonna go over. We're gonna go over briefly kind of like all the modules. So kind of like how work orders are made, how purchase orders are received, kind of like all the bells and whistles that Tire Base offers, both for tire wholesalers and tire shop retail owners. So just keep in mind that if by the end of this video you walk out and you finish it and you say, you know what, I still don't know everything by heart, it's okay. The best way to learn a system is to use it. So again, even if you need a demo license where you can play around, put stuff, and try to break the system, if you like to like touch buttons and put stuff, then let us know. We could actually share a demo account where you could play around with it. But again, if not, again, just with the typical, we see best results with typical usage of the system, right? So someone in the operation, just be patient at first, but as time goes by, trust me, it's going to get easier. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start. And so when you log in, you're going to see your dashboard. So the dashboard's fairly simple. You pretty much see how much income you've made, the total expenses, new customers, and invoices, a nice graph of your sales, recent clients added, and recent orders added. So you can't change this to weekly, you can't change this to yearly, daily, or however you want. So and so that's kind of nice. You can also always provide feedback. So if you ever need to provide feedback, you can click on this yellow button, and it allows you to give us some feedback or bugs or stuff like that. But again, if you're also having questions or doubts on how to use something, you can always go to the tirebase.io help center, and it's gonna, you have a knowledge base here with videos and everything. And again, if you still can't find it, you can submit a ticket or you can contact the person who onboarded you. So again, if I onboarded you or if David onboarded you or whoever onboarded you, you should have their direct line, and you can always feel free to reach out any of us, okay? So with that being said, that's the dashboard. Before I jump into other modules, I do want to touch on the locations tab on top. If you are a multi-location user or business, you'll see all your locations right here on the top. So location MX and location US. So in this case, our demo account is it's a business that has a location in Mexico and a location in the US. Then you see your profile information, and then you have a menu bar right here on the side. So I'm going to go over the menu bar first, just briefly. In the menu bar, we have work orders, which is where you can create orders, quotes, or invoices. Purchases, so the purchases module is obviously where you can purchase stuff, right? You can receive tires, you can say we bought some pizza and record an expense. Products and services is where you search stuff, right? You search tires, you search service, so on and so forth. Inventory, obviously how you do inventory counts, maybe do intercompany transfers, so on and so forth. Customers, it's a CRM, so you can keep track of your customers, their information, their vehicles, their locations. Reports, self-explanatory. Money movements, this is actually and again, I could probably touch on based on this. At the bottom right here, we have a close daily sell button, and what this does is it tells you how much money you should have. So in this case, let's say that my cash box every day has $250. When I click here again, it's going to tell me how much money I should have based on my sales. So I should have, right now I haven't done anything, so I should have zero. But let's say that, I have $100 extra. Once you do this, it's going to automatically, once you close a day, it's really just a closing end report. And once you close a day, the money movements are shown here so that it could be reconciled easily with your accounting. So again, if your store sold $10,000, 5,000 of them were cash, 5,000 of them were in card, you're going to put that in your closed daily sell report, and it's going to show up on your money movement every day, how much cash, how many cards, how many finance you had per day. So that's that module right there. And then settings, again, we'll talk briefly about settings in a moment, but just general settings about the system. You can change the language of the system here. So currently we do support English and Spanish. And then we already talked about the close daily sell function. And then we have a employee clock in, clock out. This is a nice little touch, So again, if I don't know, let's say put right here Fernando, we're gonna clock in. and we're gonna go ahead and clock out again. So it's a nice way to keep track of time if that's what you need. And then one of my favorite features, dark mode or light mode. Again, a lot of people seem to really enjoy working in dark mode, and so we've incorporated that into our system. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and start with work orders. So now I will go over in a very detailed manner, again, pretty much every single module. And if that's the case, again, I would recommend you continue watching the Getting Started series, where you'll see the Tire Base POS. You don't see anything here because we're building them right now, we're recording them. But you will see, the Tire Base POS system side of things, that I will break it down by module, and the videos you should be watching by order in detail. And so in this case, I'm just going to go over just briefly how it works. So in the work orders module, we could create orders here. We can create customers. We can use a cash customer, or we could search by our, customer database. We can also do inspections based on work orders that we have open. And we can also keep track of our appointments, so appointments that our customers are doing. Again, to edit an existing order, you can just click on it. Right here we have Leon, Picasso, and pretty much you can assign vehicles. You can, again, if there's a setting in the store where, this version might be slightly different. If you're a retail shop, you'll have the vehicle section. If you're wholesale, you're going to have the ship to location. So again, if this is a tire, Discount Tire, well, maybe it's going to have a billing address of Discount Tire in Arizona, but a specific ship to in, somewhere else. But anyways, then you can also add products here. So if we wanted to search by the size, we could do that. If we wanted to search by brand, we could do that. We can also search by part number. So if I type let's see, AGS, I can find that. Now, also, if you, for whatever reason, can't find the product that you're looking for right here, you can always click on the quick lookup right here, and you can search tires this way. So again, this is a very easy way. Something to keep in mind, our system does have about 55,000 SKUs already added with specs, and most of them do have images. And as you can see, they're high res image. And to see the specs, let's see here. To see the specs, you simply click on the brand, and you can see all the specs of the tire. So that's, again, a very nice feature. Something also to keep in mind is, let's see here, if you hover on the price, you'll be able to see, again, how much is your profit, what was your last cost, your average cost, how much is the amount, and a quick out-the-door price for your customers. So yeah, once we decided to add something, we could go ahead and add that part. And then, there's automatically like automation rules that adds service based on a tire. So in this case, we have that when a tire is added, to add tire mount specialty for $50. And then you can play around also with the taxes if you want to, right? So if your customer is taxable or non-taxable, but you still want to tax it, you can, everything is modifiable to your liking. You can also see the math of taxes here, and you can add reference number, sales technician, appointment, all that stuff is here. So to finalize an order, you simply go in and click finalize. You would select the payment method, which is fully customizable. If you do a SEMA, SNAP, Affirm, cash card, Visa, whatever, you can create those and customize these. In this case, I'm just going to say they're paying card, cash. Not to mention also, we do have now Tire Base payments. So if you don't have a card processing machine, or if you're looking for a new card processing that integrates fully, with Tire Base, feel free to reach out for more questions about that. But for now, again, I'm just going to use cash. I'm just going to click add, and I'm going to click save and close. You do have the ability to save and send an invoice to sign. So again, this is if you don't want to print the paper and have a customer, I guess, write it on a piece of paper and then keep a physical, tangible paper file. You can always just send this invoice to be signed virtually via email or text, and your customer can sign it, and then again, you keep a database of that internally, digitally. And that is compliant with IRS, so that's great. So that's all about the work order module. So the purchase order module or purchases module, we have here purchases, expenses, vendors, and expense categories. So again, expenses, I'm going to jump because that's really much easier. And expenses, really, if we're buying some pizza for the guys and you want to keep track of those expenses, our system allows you to do that. You simply go here and say who made that expense, when was the expense, if there's a specific purchase order assigned to it, that's optional. And then you get to pick the expense category. In this case, I don't have an expense category for food, but let's say that I'm going to create one right now. So we click food, we say that cash, and we say that we are taking $100 for pizza. And we click save. And now we have just recorded $100 worth of pizza expense for our guys, and it's that simple. Again, keep in mind that that is updated on the dashboard. So now I immediately see that for today, I've spent $100 and I've sold $102. So we're still having some profit. Oh, well, maybe not, because you have cost of goods sold, but you get the deal, right? So that's how purchases are done. Expenses are done. You manage your expense categories here. And then vendors, this is where we talk about suppliers specifically. So again, I have ATD, Amazon, the wholesale tire distributors. You can add new suppliers. You can, edit the existing ones. You can determine here if they have terms, if they're paying, with card, or if you're paying them with card. If they're tax exempt, if they're taxing, if they're charging you sales tax, so on and so forth. All that stuff is customizable. You also can keep track of how much you owe them. Now, although we are integrated with QuickBooks, we highly recommend you integrate with QuickBooks so you could keep your accounting nice and clean through QuickBooks. You could still technically not have to use QuickBooks. You could keep track of your customers and your vendors, that's through Tire Base. So now let's just say that I'm going to create a new purchase order. We select the vendor. And then in the reference number, we're going to put the invoice number, but for now we don't have one because we want to buy some tires. So same thing, if you have the part number, you can type it, but let's say it's a 205 5516, and it's specifically a Michelin. So again, if I don't want to scroll down here until I find the specific Michelin, I can actually click on the quick lookup bar, type 205 5516. I can sort specifically by Michelin. And again, right now it's going to show me 0 because we have this include items. So to exclude items in 0, but if I check box this, it's going to show me all the Michelins now. And let's say that I'm going to use the Cross Climate Plus. So I'm going to buy 4, and we're going to buy them for, I don't know, let's say 125.69. We're going to click select. Now we've added them here. Again, the total is 502. This is tax exempt. We could update FET. Obviously, this tire does not have FET. And we can include freight. So let's say we are actually paying $20 FedEx to have these tires FedExed out to us. So we can add that freight automatically here. So we can go ahead and update the PO. As you can see, we can print the PO as well. So we could keep that in paper if you want to, which I don't know why you would need a paper PO. Like I get the whole process, but anyways, we do want to give you that option if you want to print out the paper PO, but ideally you just need it, digitally, right? That's what we're trying to strive for. And so here immediately we could see that this PO is in pending status, meaning we haven't paid it and it's on the way. So we haven't received it yet. So to receive these tires, let's say that we just got these tires, you simply click on way and it asks you if you want to receive these tires. You click yes, automatically tires have been received. So now if I go back to my 205 5516 tires, and again, I'm gonna go ahead and select the Michelin specifically. Now keep in mind we are doing some improvements. One of the improvements is that we're gonna show everything that shows in stock at the beginning, so that we don't have to do this filter. But at this point, I can see here that these tires have been received. I see 4 in stock. If I click on the 4, I'll see a detailed history, or we call it our quick unit tracking report. We'll be able to see, we created the item, 0. ATD, we bought 4 for 125.68. And as you can see, our selling price is 157 based on our markup rules. So if a customer wanted to come here and buy them, I could immediately tell them all 4 tires out the door is $828.40. So again, you can see that that's how the purchase order module works. And as you already know, we kind of already touched the products and service module, but this is where you could search products, you could search services, you can add new services, you can add rules to apply automatically into your, if you're adding a specific tire or something, you can add rules to automatically add this service into those work orders. And by default, we do create some services for you. So four-wheel alignment, all these that you can't delete, obviously, have been automatically added for you because everybody offers these services. You can edit the price. Obviously, everybody has a different price. So if you want to charge tire mount base, for $25 or 20 or 15 or 10, then that's up to you. Again, if you do offer, used tire as a service or whatever, tire stem or whatever, you could add all these services here. You can also, play around with categories. You can play with brands if you want to add a new brand. But let's say that you want to add a new product. So to add a new product, you simply go to products, you click add, and you add a product here. You can determine whether it's a wheel, tire, or an other. Other would be anything like a supply or part or whatever. You put the part number, the description, brand, style, all that stuff. So again, if you do want a more in-depth video on how to add a product into Tire Base, be sure to go into our knowledge base and follow up or watch that video. So, and I'm just adding here a note for me to remember. So perfect. Keep in mind also that there is this show advanced options option that you can check, and it prompts you to provide a lot more detail. So if you want to have a lot of detail on your product, you can do that. But for the most part, we've only kept the most essential fields. So again, here you also determine the price levels. So how much do you want to bill? How much are you wanting to mark up? So again, if you select here, we can say that these are price levels assigned to customers. Okay, so again, if I have my default price level, that's a 0% discount. But if I have my gold customers, I might want a 7% discount, or my platinum an 8%, the diamond might be 10%, and so on and so forth. So you can mark diamond as default. You could do a specific amount. You could do a percentage. You can do price exceptions. So again, here you can say specifically for Arroyo tires, and specifically, or let's do actually a Goodyear, right? I was part of the Goodyear G3X program, and I knew that the assurance all season oftentimes would come up with a nice rebate at the end of the quarter. So what we can do here is I can say, you know what, I want to get minus $10 on this from the average cost, and I want it to be a fixed minus $10 on all my insurance all season. I want minus $10 so that my cost can be lower, or my selling price can be lower, and I can push my product further. You can go ahead and add that. And again, these are just nice rules to have. Same with price matrix. Again, this is just tires from 0 to $59.99. How much do we increase? And again, you can pretty much edit the percentage, but you cannot edit the range. Okay, you can add further ranges, but again, we try to make it simple so that it's not overcomplicated. The intercompany transfers or the inventories, again, to create an inventory, you just click on add. You select the brands, the type of inventory, but then you can also see the final end product, right? So in this case, we had 495 Arroyos. We counted 525, so we're doing a variance of 26 over. So again, this is just inventory control. You can also update the minimum and maximum stock. So again, if you want to run reports based on how much you're supposed to have. So let's say I have 508 Arroyos, but I'm supposed to have 1,000 at all time. That's my minimum. Then you can keep track of that stuff here, and you can export a template and easily import your minimum and maximums. And then finally, the intercompany transfer. Again, if I were to send some inventory to my US location or my Mexico location, this is a module where we would do it. We would select the store where we're sending the product. we're gonna say AGS001. We're gonna send, I don't know, 100 of these products. We're gonna go ahead and confirm the price, the notes, and we're gonna click on transfer. Again, you can print this if you want to, so you can go ahead and give that to your, driver. But if not, once it's, received, and the inventory will automatically be deducted as a transfer. CRM. So one of my favorite modules here, you get to see your customers. Pretty much you get to see them, you can export them, you can import them. You can download a customer template if you want to import, and we require specific formats, so you could get that template there. And then you could also search for duplicates. So again, if you have a lot of data, it could tell you, hey, look, Leon Picasso has, we have 2 individuals that probably match. We recommend you merge them. So that's a very nice tool and feature to have. You can also see the inactive and active customers. You can do bulk edit. So again, if you're wanting to change multiple price levels at once, let's say we all want all these customers to update to a price level of platinum, we could do that immediately and fairly easy. So with that being said, once we create or add a new customer, you click on add. You can add whether it's an individual or a business. You can tell if you want a COD, meaning cash on delivery, or terms. You can also do business name, phone number, all that stuff. But you can also assign a salesperson. So again, if you're keeping track of commissions for salespeople, you can say, hey Marco, you know what? You're the person in charge of taking care of John. So or Hertz, or this dealership, or this fleet account. You can also assign a price level here. If you keep track, or if you're wholesaling or selling stuff tax exempt, if you have a resale certificate, you can put their tax ID here. Again, it's nice to just have all that information in one place. And then the default store, right? So are they going to be buying from our Mexico location or our US location by default? And then finally, the tax rate. So again, are we billing him the Texas sales tax, or is he tax exempt, so on and so forth. So once you've created a customer, let's say Hertz right here, you're going to be able to click on their customer profile, and you're going to be able to see Hertz. You're going to see their pricing level, their terms. They pay once a week, $10,000 credit, they're tax exempt, and now we can see how much they bought from us, what's their history, the vehicles. And again, this is actually a bad customer to reference because we don't have any historical data. But let's use David. We love David. I mean, he's a great customer. He's a diamond, top of the line, best pricing. But we can see all the orders, everything he's bought from us, and he owes us nothing because he pays everything. So obviously, he's cash payment method, but you get the idea, right? You also get a nice little log here with everything that's going on in David's account. We can see David's vehicles. We see he has several Teslas and F-150. We can add more vehicles. Again, we're powered by Carfax, so you could just search by license plate or VIN. And we also allow, again, locations for fleet accounts. Again, if you're getting discount tire, well, which location bought what tire from. Again, this Tire Access module is accessible only for our Tire Base Advanced plans, but there's a B2B portal. So let's say we wanted David to have access to Tire Access. This is where we can give him access to Tire Access. And again, if you're curious about any one of these features, I will be doing more videos about that. So feel free to check them out. Data migration. This is actually quite nice, a very nice feature. So if you're moving or migrating from an old system, we allow all that system that you had previously to be transferred over to your new system. Now, we can't natively, I guess, install all that historical data sometimes because of the way the data is formatted, but we can guarantee you that you'll be able to at least, by customer, at least again here, if David had bought tires from us in our old system, let's say I was using Tire Guru before, or Napa Tracks or whatever, and David had a record in that POS system, and I imported into Tire Base, well, at least I'm going to be able to see what David had bought, the date, how much he paid, so I can verify, if he had a road hazard, if he bought these tires from me. And that way we don't lose that data that so many times, I've been victim myself where you switch systems and you lose all this data. So it's very frustrating. So not with Tire Base. And then again, in reports, we have, pretty much some standard reports. We haven't really done a lot of in-depth reports, but we do offer custom reports by the store. So again, if you have a specific report you're looking for, each store has about 3 reports. You can let us know how you want the format of those reports. We'll build them for you and we'll add them for you. So that way you have the data and your reports in a way that you want them. So either way, we've built, some general reports that you might need. You can download them via Excel or PDF. And yeah, so the lost sales report is just a way to keep track of what you didn't have in stock. Again, money movements, like I said, here we could see how much, we've actually sold, how much we should have, and so on and so forth. Settings, again, this is a very complicated module, so I'm not going to go into in depth, but here you can manage your users. We have all these users that are accessing our demo account in this case. You could keep track of your employees, so when you add a new employee, again, you can keep track of your employee data, their birthday, what they like to do, a hobby, favorite place to eat, the locations they have access to through Tire Base, their position, etc. You do have the ability to give permissions to specific profiles of users. Again, if you have multiple locations, you can add more locations here. When you create a new location, you can add the location name, the default tax rate, the phone, email, address, invoice number, so on and so forth. You can also do bank accounts. So again, when we do deposits and when we do integrations, we typically do ask you to create at least a generic bank account. So you could do that here. And then if you're using QuickBooks, or payment methods, when the reason we need this information specifically, and again, I'll talk more about in depth once you, there'll probably be like a payment method video. But the reason why we need to map this is because if you're getting paid in cash, we need to know where the cash is going to which bank account. Trust me, accounting wise, it's going to save you tons of time. Just trust me. So payment methods, again, here, if you do a SEMA, you could change all that stuff here. Terms, maintenance, tax rates, inspection questions, integrations. We're so happy and proud that we finally integrated with QuickBooks. We've integrated with Stripe and Parts Tech. So again, our Tire Base payments are powered through Stripe. So the same company that processes payments for billion-dollar companies like Lyft, Twilio, all these other companies, they use Stripe. So we're happy to be able to partner with them, and same with Parts Tech. So general, this is where you add your logo. You can add appointment reminders if you set an appointment so that your customer gets an automatic text. Again, if you want to deactivate or enable the technician seller vehicle, and some other stuff like custom notes for tire access for your invoices, and then of course data migration, right? So if you're transferring data from an old POS system, you can do it from here. So that was a long video. That was actually quite long. So like I said, if you didn't get all of this, please don't worry, don't stress. The best way really to know the system, to get to know and understand it, is to use it. Don't be afraid. If you break something, if something happens, feel free to reach out to us. Like I mentioned before, you can reach out to us via our knowledge base. You can always submit a ticket. You can always, the system always will have in the dashboard. You can contact us via email or phone. And yeah, if you have questions, feel free to reach out. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for trusting us and helping you manage your business. If there's any feature, anything that's missing that you feel would be integral for the success of your business or others, please let us know. I'm always more than happy to listen to those feedback. So thank you and enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.